bring the adrenaline into this first map, which is going to be Clubhouse and their pick, and then Nighthaven Labs into Consulate, I think regardless of those two, for me, the onus is on this opening map, guys. They've still got the adrenaline. They're still happy. They've qualified for the major. This is going to be the map where if Daystar can win this map, then that gives them the confidence probably going into the rest of the series. They lose it, and it being their map pick, then I can start to see their energy start to get sapped. And then, and if you start a little bit slow on labs, then you probably start to think, oh, well, let's just, go celebrate early. We're still going to the major. But I think the first map is going to be the big factor in this series.
Yeah, I quite like Waybo selecting to attack first into Clubhouse. It's a map that we've seen, especially in regions such as NA, which we have covered throughout Kickoff, developed to be pretty friendly for the attack. So Waybo are going to try and exploit that. It is the style of map where you can really snowball momentum quickly and really crunch onto the defense and force a lot of gunfights and flush out power positions with you to like the kind of play style that Waybo typically really enjoy and thrive in. So they'll try and tempo set early here and try and kind of crush the spirit, I suppose, of Daystar, putting it in the most friendly way possible.
It's grand final time here in Asia. A little different to APAC North and Oceania, where it's not do or die. It's not make or break. Both teams will be going to the major. It's just a matter of what stage they will be playing first up. Waybo go in as the favorites. They're the best team in the region. They haven't dropped a single map so far throughout the entirety of Kickoff, even if they have been tested in those maps a couple overtimes and a lot of 7-5s. They're still, so far, flawless. Over to Clubhouse to start this grand final. Daystar fresh off of that lower final win. As Harambe said it best, the stress is gone. They're just going to get to play their game stress-free. Whatever happens, happens. For Waybo, the expectation should be for them to get the win. So if they do lose out on Clubhouse, that would be their first map loss, and that would give more adrenaline over to Daystar to maybe pull off an upset.
And I suppose to illustrate just how strong Waybo are in the region, but I guess more so isolated to Asia here for Kickoff, they are the #1 team for attack win percent, the #1 team for defense win percent, the #1 team for plants, the highest plus KD, the strongest on opening kills. Their average time of entry, they're actually the second slowest, so that's an interesting standout. Opening kills traded, also a little bit behind, but some of those numbers are going to be skewed given the nature of their strengths elsewhere. Opening kill conversion, that's probably one that does stand out as maybe being a little bit behind the 8 ball. They're sitting at 76%. Orchid actually leading all comers in that category at 79%. I mean, we're splitting hairs at this point. Overall, though, on so many metrics, including actually deaths traded, they are, again, #1. So, Waybo been dominant throughout Kickoff. They've been tested on a couple of occasions, as you were mentioning earlier, but yeah, I think that with zero disrespect aimed towards Daystar, Waybo should be closing this one out 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the expectation. But Daystar start on the defensive club. Again, they get to just kind of play this game as if it's a free hit. I mean, they still want to win, and that was where I think it was a little lost in translation with the interview with Harambe was, like, obviously they still want to win this game. Like, this is still something to gain. SI points, go straight to stage 2. There are the benefits there to, play to the best of their ability. And also the added factor, which, it's kind of a whatever, but you want to be the champions, right? Like, you want to beat Waybo. Like, those things should matter to professional players who have high aspirations and ultra competitiveness. So by no means do I want to build this as a nothing grand final. There's quite a bit on the line for both teams. And it should be a fun one. And the last hit out for both of them as well before the major, which is coming up pretty soon. Essentially, you play this, you'll be flying out pretty soon, I imagine within the next week or so. Of it on the solid snake, getting some information off the radar. Turd, with his usual trash talk before the game, was just alluding to the fact that Daystar are going to replace Bin Bin. Does he know about it? Obviously, Turd, I'm sure, is telling lies. And Alpe, though, with the opening pick on to seal an unsuspecting one. But then from below,
hey,
oh, guess what? It's Bin Bin.
Good trade. A very decent trade there, back through the vert over towards Kitchen Hall. So losing the Habana, not too devastating. Secondary hard breach available here for the attack of Waybo, but I'd say losing Seal, both his armor util, but also just how devastating he's been, especially in the clutch late round, could be a handicap for the defense. We've eclipsed the midpoint of the round. Basement is fully clear. Speakeasy's body language suggesting maybe initially that they thought someone was above, or maybe it was clearing something. I'm not entirely sure what the thought process there was, but either way, they'll now look to posture minute on the clock, drop Moto with the protection of the castle, which will trap Hoven in. They would then scan forward. Down to 60 seconds. Final layer of utility now for the attack. 3 gas waves for Souffle. Keep that in mind.
I mean, between the gas waves and the Shamika launcher, they've got good area denial, but Waybo just got good tendency to be able to push through, find the kills then. So if you get caught util in hand or focusing on the util, they can punish that. See the REU screen. Hoven, how does he even get through that gas wave? That is insane. It was on 1 HP. Took like one small tick of damage and then was able to survive. Azuki coming out of dirt. So there's a good chance to win this as Hoven is low. Speakeasy's half health. Speakeasy and Hoven will just have to play together. Speakeasy's going to go for the plant. Hoven then to cover the cross on the left side here of Church. The plant will be successful. But Sion is back now on to Azuki, and he will get the headshot onto Hoven. And then Speakeasy with the immediate trade over towards Blue. And it's an attacking round win on Basement to kickstart the grand final for Waybo.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, simple attack there from Waybo, and probably indicative of the kind of siege that they'll look to try and play in this matchup. I think especially if they go untested off-site, we'll see a lot of just util layering on the objective, keep it pretty simple. I like the addition there of the sense, allowed for the flood deep. Hoven did get a little fortunate that he didn't take one additional tick of damage, otherwise it could have started to unravel things a little bit. Left him vulnerable late, but Speakeasy, so much experience, so much composure. He's been in an endless number of 1v1s like that before and does a good job of securing the trade. A solid start for Waybo. Basement ticked off. And that is arguably the trickiest site to attack into. We've seen top floor develop over time. Again, especially internationally in some of the domestic leagues. More specifically to actually favor the attack rather significantly. So, very strong start for Waybo as they look to try and roll that forward.
I didn't get a chance after the lower final to sort of fully recap Daystar's performance. Seal and Pika, by the way, ended both with 35 kills. They were tied top fragger. Pika with 6-2 on the entry. And then Azuki and Souffle with 24 and 23, putting in good numbers and a good shift from the team. Of course, Bin lacked 11-24, 2-5 on the entry with a 73 EPS. I'm sure he'll be aware of that and need to find the improvement. But when you have 4 really strong players, you don't really need Bin to be the one running around and fragging out. We saw him play the snake role, and he was just feeding information for the radar, and that's going to be his job again coming into this grand final. Play these kind of operators where you just set your utilities, sit back, hold a position. Obviously got a nice kill in the previous round. Blackbeard employed for Waybo as we head over to Gym Bedroom for the second round. Clash also for Seal.
Yeah, we saw the snake exploited nicely in the last round. Hoven used it especially close to site to get really strong info on the anchor positions from the defense. And again, I think that more direct approach in exploiting the objective and pressuring anchor play is going to be the right strat, especially on a map like Club. With the kind of comms and synergy that Waybo have to really make the most of, it's going to be a tool that Daystar may consider banning out later on. Over towards the Jacuzzi
great
breach.
dislodge.
Seal gets caught, as he said, a dislodge. Well played by Waybo. And that puts Daystar under quite a bit of pressure now.
Yeah, I mean, Seal hasn't done anything wrong. He wants to provide the pressure at the Jacuzzi breach, but just a good air jab from Arpe and then just a quick reaction to get the kill. Good teamwork from Waybo. Seal probably has to maybe envision that as a potential threat Yeah, but now they can just kind of push through the breach. Speakeasy, there was a small chance for him to die to Souffle. In the end, actually gives him that chance by going gun up, as Pika's the only one remaining now for Daystar as Waybo. Well, clinical to start so far in the grand final of Clubhouse with 2 attacking round wins. No one is surprised though.
Wow. Yeah, it was really clean from Waybo. Once they dealt with the clash, it was pretty straightforward. They had Turd CC side to help cut the window position. They had the backup option on the bulk as well, so they had that side covered, and then the rest of the team can just flood Jacuzzi, and it's pretty straightforward from there to leverage the black bid without the counterplay on offer. So yeah, it's a good siege. Waybo looking pretty switched on here to start club.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. They've been probably just sitting back watching the lower final, finding out who they're going to play against. So they've been most likely as a team all in sync over the page today and ready to go and just kind of waiting. And so when you're sitting around waiting all day, you're just kind of eager to get into the server and show what you can do. And it's the teamwork as well to begin so far. I mean, Waybo aren't winning these rounds just because, Reeves walks in through the front door and kills 3-4 people. It's teamwork off of the utility, teamwork off the operators, information being provided, playing off of that, pushing in together at the right time, all the fundamentals that we expect from Waybo coming to fruition. And I'm definitely not going to sit here and say I expect this to be attacker-sided when it comes to Clubhouse in the Asia region. Although I say that, it's funnily enough, it's okay. Well, the numbers are definitely wrong here on what I'm looking at, but I'll go and find the numbers for you and get back to you.
We've got it listed as only being played once in Asia. That's certainly skewing.
I think it has. I think it's been a decider map, but I don't think it's actually gone to the decider.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually quite fascinating. The club hasn't played as often. So yeah, I mean the stats are correct. So it's been to the decider like 4 times, but it never got played. It's only actually then therefore been played once. Which therefore it's invalid. I mean, it's not even a sample size. It's literally one game. It doesn't matter. Probably a Waybo stomp against someone where they just decimated them on the attack. Chance over towards Cash and CCTV now for Daystar to try and get on the board. They're going to go full bunker down defense and look to try and solidify this Rafters position, but Bindin is just far too easily flushed out. Even without the Capitao available or the Grim, Bin gets easily dealt with. Azuki at the back over towards Cash. Long angle from Turd. He even laughs about it in the chat. And 90 seconds left in the round. It's a 5v3 in favor of the attack. Oh, Pika, that's... he's got better eyes than me. If I didn't have the outline, I'm not seeing him.
Minute 10 and maybe a lifeline here for Daystar. Still have the clash available. Still have the smokes available and nitro for Pika. Ape though is lurking down below, so a lounge denial is unlikely with Pika down low in lobby. Speakeasy gets a freebie. And it's just too easy for Waybo at the moment. They really are just on another level. I can't shake the feeling that Daystar are fatigued, but even at their best, Waybo are just too good. It's 3 straight as they march towards dominating this opening map.
Yeah, and as much as I said, the adrenaline would be there for Daystar off of the lower final win, the confidence levels, not a lot to really lose from this series, just everything to gain. You're starting on defense, club, your map pick, so you kind of put all of that into a basket and think, well, maybe there's a chance they could at least be competitive to start, but it's just all Waybo as Harambe calls a tactical timeout for Daystar to talk things over. I mean, I do wonder what sort of would be said here. What do you really tell Daystar right now? Hey, they're just really good. I don't know. I mean, what more do you want? Waybo are opening up the map. They're hitting great shots. They're not making mistakes. They're pretty clean and clinical. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the opponent. Waybo are on today, and they haven't really been, I think, at their exquisite best over the last couple of series, as you kind of touched on. Maybe something we can ask them in the interview, how they've kind of viewed their form, but they're on right now. Like, Waybo are really, really strong, and there's sometimes not much you can do about that if you're Daystar.
I think for Daystar, it's about trying to break down these systems and these setups for the executes onto power positions as early as they can. They're allowing Waybo to just set up and line up kills like this, for instance, way too easily, way too frequently. They just compound pressure. Waybo are doing a good job in exploiting a map that is, again, it is naturally very difficult to defend these sides. Don't get it twisted. They start probably making it a little harder on themselves than they need to, but nonetheless, it's Waybo the ones that are dictating the match so far. Back down to basement. I think the little challenge now for Waybo is, can we go flawless in the half? It's been such a strong start for them.
Yeah, and speaking to Harambe, it's like you asked a good question, how much prep work sort of maybe goes into the grand final. Obviously, you don't want to put too much, and your focus is on Orchid, and rightfully, I think he answered it correctly. But he also kind of said, well, in some ways, they know Waybo. I mean, it's they know how they play. They've had experience against them. It's the same core 5. Like, the Waybo's Waybo. You can get plenty of vision on them, and I don't think you have to put too much stock into them right now. But yeah, I do wonder what the takeaways will be from this series. Look, there's a long way to go, and Waybo are prone to getting a little overzealous. They can sometimes have these really strong starts and then start to throw a little bit. So it'll be curious to see if Daystar can get back into this. But I think, yeah, I mean, I do wonder what Harambe said in the timeout there. If it's strategical or if it's more so mental-based. Because they would have known full well that Waybo were going to come in here and be very, very strong opponent.
Yeah.
Reloading, cover me.
So into the 4th round, minute down. And with the sledge in play, Vert's going to be critical here from Waybo. They have the Habana for hatches, and then Alvin brings the sense again. Maybe they'll posture for the moto drop. The sense also, though, can provide value on kitchen drop as well. It's certainly not just exclusive to that position. And so the questions now as to how Daystar look to try and disrupt that push. They go Chanka and Smoke this round. Now 90 seconds left and secret drone clear. So blue pressure will follow here. Good drone work as well in the objective. And once Speakeasy's able to get Brutes down on basement as well, he can live feed info to the rest of the push. So again, Daystar haven't really done much, haven't offered much in denying this. And I can't help but shake the feeling that in a 5 versus 5, statistically, Waybo have the edge. But Bin Bin at least does find something. Turd falls.
Yeah, Bin Bin's done all right so far. It's going to be that rush in towards Arsenal now. Speakeasy using the cover of the RAU screens from the Sens. Alvin usually is quite sharp. Bin Bin over-invested, though, to try and help out. Pika then finished off the job. Speakeasy turn around with a pistol in towards Church. He's immediately traded. Good blue pressure coming from Daystar. But again, what Waybo play quite well is they leave a lot of time on the clock. Still 30 seconds, even on the execute. 1v2, Ape, does he go for the full stick here? Trying to get baited out, and he will commit. Now plays the post plant. Immediately with the flash. But he's still in a tucked-in position. Very easy to clear. And Daystar are on the board. They defend basement.
And Harambe looks fun, a little play cam at the bottom of Harambe. Oh, look, better trade work there from Daystar. They get the opening kill, and then despite some good playmaking from Waybo, such as the Monty Deep and the Reaps drop, each of those two, look, got value. They got their pick, but traded. So some good kills from them. They win basement. They put a halt to the streak. Basement, though, is the side that you more often than not are going to win on defense. It's the tertiary that will make the difference maker across the map as we look back at that round. They played off one another pretty well here, Daystar. Good trade there. Reaps also traded AK. Arpe not allowed to escape his position, deep church. Harambe pretty satisfied with that round.
Yeah, I mean, as you should be. I mean, anytime you can get around win against Waybo, you should feel pretty good about it. I mean, it's Clubhouse basement defense, so you could kind of put that down to the expected result usually. But there's no expected results against Waybo. And I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Bin Bin right now as well. Just, you know, he kind of cops flack straight away before the game has even started. Yeah, he had a rough little final. But gets the opening kill in that round. First time that Daystar have been able to get the first pick in a round. And I think it really does help them get that round win. Otherwise, Waybo probably just win the trade game inside, and it goes the way that it usually does. So over to Gym Bedroom for the 5th round. 2 to go in this half. I mean, if Daystar are going to be any chance on this map, I think it's pretty fair to say they might actually have to win the next 2 as well. Because Waybo on defense, Clubhouse are going to be very, very good.
Yeah, no doubt. Hopefully it doesn't get any easier from here, and it's already been a stretch for Daystar to be able to get just 1 round so far on defense, Club, mind you, as well. So into the 5th, and Speakeasy gets quick control garage. That'll be a map sweep from Waybo. I want to try and see Daystar get a little more proactive here. They had good signs of that back against Orchid. Allow the likes of Pika to aggress around the map. Azuki had some moments. Even Souffle operated defendant as well. Seal on clutch duties this round, so he'll be a little more passive. Daystar forfeit cash side. Surely they look now to contest Conf Clash. Pretty viable option. Just got to make sure that they don't leave Seal on too much of an island. But into the Monty, the Clash will be particularly influential. 90 seconds, and now belt control for Waybo. So they just continue to go through this checklist. It's really clean from them at the moment. They just look so in sync, like a hive mind. They're not really having to really think all that much. It's kind of just subconscious at this point for this kind of team. Speakeasy will sit there and yap a little bit and make the next goal. But it's Azuki to draw first blood. Arpe falls, and Waybo under the pump a little bit here for the 2nd round.
I've been trying to find something from the window. Zuki just got pushed back due to that frag grenade, but there was no one there to get the kill. Alvin was trying to do it all himself. So I'm thinking about this entry in towards Jim, but there is cover for Daystar.
Ooh.
Zuki goes down, cops one from Turd. I think that might have actually been inadvertently just spraying towards the Clash, and Azuki's just caught one randomly to the head from below. Pika trying to put some pressure on to Speakeasy. Reaps
so
though gets rid of Bin Bin, and they've got a little bit of this logistics control now with Reaps and Speakeasy, but Souffle with a double kill onto Turd, and Hoven stops that push in towards the site. An opportunity presents though for Reaps, and he'll happily oblige as Speakeasy with the pistol catches Pika coming back from below. And Reaps then with the vendetta as Waybo make it another attacking round in the half.
God, it's remarkable that, especially in domestic competition, Waybo's ability to break down rounds, even when they look like they're in a position where most teams are just going to flounder out and lose the round, and they're still able to, you know, establish clean lines of communication and enable those players to have a read as to where everyone is at the end. And then they can back themselves in with gunplay and gun skill to get the job done. It's brutal from a Daystar perspective, but for Waybo, it's felt like another day at the office. A really good recovery effort in a round where, outside of the one prior to it, we're very much tested. So a 4-1 lead into cash as we edge closer towards the raw swap. Waybo could well be 5-1 up.
Attackers have discovered the location of the bomb.
A very long way back for Daystar, and I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look great for them in this grand final. If this does end up being a bit of a beatdown, though, you got to take the lessons and the learnings. Really, VOD reviewed this. Waybo are giving you some really good siege ahead of the major, and it's a great warm-up. It's the perfect warm-up going into the major because Waybo actually are a class team. I mean, I don't know where you'd rank them top of my head. I don't know if I can confidently say they're a top 8 team in the world. They've had top 8 finishes, but that doesn't maybe classify them as a top 8 team. But they're certainly around the top 10 mark, I think, just off the top of my head. So you're getting a really good warm-up going into the major as to what the level's going to be like. And of course, for Daystar coming off a 6 Invitational, they're not completely unaware that they've still got room to improve and that the level rises when you go to these international events. Maybe they are a little bit worn out from that lower final.
Time to ring some ears.
Drone activated.
Yeah.
About to get hot.
It was always going to be a challenging game for Daystar, even if they 7-0'd Orc. I still think this would have been a challenging match, no doubt. Waybo just looks so clean on these attacks, and it leaves almost no margin for error for Daystar. Souffle to get targeted first by Arpe, and Turd gets the kill. Instant. No messing around from Waybo. Midpoint of the round. Double stack garage. Bin there as well.
Grenade out!
And we'll see if Waybo are aware and can clear. Thorn targeted. How long does it take for Waybo to get the kill?
Yeah. Well, it took them, I think, even quicker last time out. They do still accomplish it with ease. Speakeasy collects it with a bit of a helping hand for the rest of Waybo. Once again, they're just able to systematically break down this defense of Daystar. Logic Bomb. A new sense probably not really doing too much. 60 seconds still on the clock. I mean, it's such a stark contrast when you watch that lower final, and I just felt the time management from both teams wasn't really all that great. And then Waybo just show you how it's done. They don't mess around. They get stuff done in the early mid-round. They execute with, 30, 40 seconds on the clock. They're just far more snappy and proactive.
Pig has a good read outside, but there's no one left to play off it. I suppose Seal up close maybe can contest. 20 seconds now on the clock. Maybe Daystar can stall out Waybo. It's a tall ask from here, though.
12 seconds left. Reaps to get the headshot onto Seal.
Oh.
The halftime is calling. The only way that win this round was off the Yokai, and Peak is now off the Yokai. Plant will be successful as he pushes through Con, shut down by Reaps. Waybo Gaming with a 5-1 attacking half on Clubhouse heading into the break. I mean, that's probably one of the better halftime vibe checks that I think we've had, because the music was switching with the cameras were switching with the music. It's all vibes. If you're Waybo, if you're a fan of Waybo, and if you're a fan of Daystar, it's the opposite of what vibes are. Down 1-5, going into the attack of Clubhouse and your map pick. It's not a great sign here for the grand final. A reminder, as you know, there might be some people coming in expecting this to be similar to APAC North and Oceania. It's not a win and you're in grand final. Daystar and Waybo will be both going to the major, but it is a win and you go to phase 2, lose and you'll play in the phase 1 stage of the major, which already has some quality teams as well, guys. It's not like phase 1 is just going to be a free run through into phase 2. It's still going to be quite a tricky proposition. You got Lost One, you got Shopify Rebellion, you got Team Falcons. You'll have, most likely, is it fair to say, Enterprise as well, barring something crazy tomorrow. And then, of course, the 3 CNL teams too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky prospect again for Daystar in this game. Sure, you can argue compromise because
Attackers need to locate and
coming
defuse
fresh off the back of a Columbia 3, but it does give some kind of insight as to the discrepancy in level as to where these two teams are at. Waybo reflective of those that are going to be starting in phase 2 as opposed to those in phase 1. So far here on Club, it's been all Waybo. Some small moments of fight back from Daystar, but just overall the systems from Waybo have been very, very strong. Again, just highlighting the versatility that this team has on offer. Numbers skew a little bit towards Reeps, but it really hasn't felt like he's been super dominant in the all-in for Waybo. It's been a solid team effort. Their systems are holding up nicely here. And on defense, Mute Mozzie in play in the kind of lineup that they're offering here. I'm expecting them to just take the highest volume of gunfights possible.
Yeah, again, this is where Waybo at times can get aggressive, look for runouts, try and find early kills. In matches, I think more so where they feel like they've probably got the game well and truly on their terms. Which is kind of why I actually like this gym bedroom site selection for Waybo rather than starting basement. You know, basement, typically you'll want to play the more slow, conventional fire stack. You know, play gym bedroom just allows them to spread around the map, be aggressive, and take more risks. Alvin's going to just float around main stairs, Reaps over towards lobby, top red, 4 speakeasy. So they're really just kind of stretching the map. Pika on the Jackal is going to go down over towards bedroom. But it is a trade onto speakeasy, and in theory the opening kill, but they weren't quite prepared for Holvid already at top of main stairs. So he collects the kill onto Bin Bin, finishes off Pika, who was initially downed in the middle of the site. Maybe sensing that Waybo weren't really pulling too much of an ultra defense towards gym bedroom, being more around the map. Felt like you could take space in bedroom, but did not quite work out. And Daystar down to 3.
70 seconds now remain on the clock. Good initial clear from Waybo, and they just continue to layer on this pressure. Seal's about to get overwhelmed. They did find one, but dead. Zuki falls as well, and it's Souffle who does find Reaps, requiring 2 more.
It's winnable in the sense that Souffle's a top player. Turd and Alpade, not exactly full health. They're both stacked over towards Con. He's got Kit. So it's got 40 seconds as well, and a drone. This is not unwinnable for Souffle. He's going to have to play this really, really well, set this drone up, get information, and if he can get it to watch for the con entry, then maybe go for a gym plant.
His drone got hacked. His drone got hacked.
Okay. Oh, no. Well, yeah, that's not going to help. He's going to fake this. He'll get off, most likely. Yeah, just a tiny bit of auditory noise over from con. 15 seconds. At this point, you may as well just go for the fight. You may as well just see if you can find them both. Gets a chance against Turd. Didn't connect those shots. Really needed to. And at this point, Turd can just hide inside a cache. He knows that they can no longer lose this based on time. 6-1. Harambe. The Harambe cam. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's not on Souffle to clutch that. That's, you have to kind of go back to the earlier portion in the round and sort of ask a couple of questions. Like Pika on the Jackal, deep bedroom that early on, questionable, right? And then the stack over towards Jacuzzi, just too easily dealt with. Bin Bin gets caught at the breach. So there's other plays in question you can look into in that round. It's not about the 1v2 from Souffle, which, look, he probably could have played that a little bit better. The drone gets hacked. Never got into a chance to either take the fight or go for the plant. One of those games where for Daystar, yeah, not much is really working for them.
Leave Bin Bin alone. Waybo find themselves on map point. Club has the selection of Daystar, and if that is anything to go by, Waybo may be even more dominant on map 2 of Nighthaven to seal the grand final, take top spot in Asia, and lock themselves into phase 2 of the Salt Lake City Major. Which is, look, if you are one of the other competitive teams in Asia, probably where you want Waybo to be, because they're then in the best position to finish best out of all the APL sub-regions, and with that, Asia would retain 2 slots going forward. Basement here for round number 8. Final reinforcements to be deployed by Waybo. Daystar bring a somewhat experimental lineup into the round, and they may look to just consolidate and go for a pretty direct approach here.
Nighthaven Labs after this. It could be as soon as after this round. Arpe's position, Node inside a secret. Now, Souffle got given quite a lot of time to find that kill. Arpe was stuck standing. Seemed completely unaware of the angle that had been opened up onto him. Opening pick for Daystar. I say that's actually one thing Daystar have done well in the last 5 rounds. They've gotten 4 of the 5 opening kills. Obviously not really converting, but at least showing a little bit more promise early on in these rounds.
Speakeasy too. It's gone all the way from Turd. Turd to contest up above. Might have info for the drop here. There is a yokai in bedroom and con. Now, same drone. Speakeasy looking to support Turd offside.
Yeah, I mean, Turd's probably got to get one in that situation. Otherwise, it just looks a little bit too easy for Daystar to corral him. And in the end, that's exactly what they did. Even with the support from the yokai at Speakeasy, it's just not going to be enough to help him. And honestly, Waybo more than good enough to win a 4v5 basement stack against Daystar. So to kind of question that a little bit for Turd. Obviously got droned out. They knew of his position. Not much he can necessarily do about that. It's just a good clear from Daystar. Minute left, 5v3. Very winnable now for Daystar. One nitrous cell, 3 gas babes for the defense of Waybo. I'd like to see them really go for the execute around this point right now. If they do leave this to the last 15, 20 seconds, it opens the pathway for Waybo. If they get the first couple of kills, and then on top of that, if Speakeasy can survive, then maybe a potential yokai play. They are getting stalled out, of course, by the gas babes of Hoven.
20 seconds. Can Waybo punish Daystar for a slow wind-up? These yokais, I can't help but shake the feeling they could have influence.
Well, they're already getting red pings in towards Kitchen. Up above, it is Seal that wins the battle against Hoven, trying to just make the contact immediate to buy even more time. Reaps good headshot onto Bin Bin. Seal currently off the plant, repositioning inside of Arsenal. And the Yokai coming to win the match. It's done, 7-1. You're right, the Yokais in the end have huge influence. It's a beatdown from Waybo in the grand final. The first map goes their way in a 7-1 dominant fashion.
AP. Saya dari Bandung, Indonesia. Saya bermain untuk Waybo Gaming. Saya mendapatkan nama AP itu dari kakak saya. Jadi sebenarnya saya mengambil nama AP itu dari kakak saya. Itu bukan nama saya. Jadi saya mengambil dari kakak saya. Saya lahir dan besar di Bandung, Indonesia. Saya sangat menyukai game. Sangat menyukai game. Saya mulai bermain game dari umur saya kecil. Saat itu saya baru umur 6 tahun. Saya belajar bermain game dari kakak saya melihat dia bermain. Saat itu game pertama saya adalah Counter Strike. Dari situ saya mulai sangat menyukai game. Saya bermain game hampir setiap saat. Setiap saya pulang sekolah, saya bermain game. Saat itu saya tidak punya komputer sendiri, jadi saya harus pergi ke warnet untuk bermain. Waktu itu saya masih SMP kelas 3. Saya mulai bermain game ke warnet hampir setiap hari. Dan di saat itulah kehidupan sekolah saya mulai rusak. Saya hampir dimarahi setiap hari oleh mama dan ayah saya karena saya terus bolos, saya bohong pergi ke sekolah. Karena waktu itu saya ketemu sama teman saya, salah satu teman saya, yang waktu itu dia adalah pro player juga. Dia dari Bandung, nama dia Kenodi. Dialah salah satu orang yang berjasa menurut saya yang memperkenalkan saya terhadap game Rainbow Six Siege, dan di saat itulah saya punya tekad untuk menjadi pro player.
Never let him get you down. Gonna make it stay just fine. 이대로 모자라지도 넘치지도 않아. Cause I got my collection. 따뜻한 물에 bathe. 향기 가득한 로션 촉촉해져. My cocoa bomb. Oh, I don't care what they say. I like it, I go la 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 la. I like it, I just want. to make it stay just fine, yeah, yeah. I like it, I go la 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 la. I like it, I just wow 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 wow. Oh baby, say it and make it a day brighter day. I like it, I go la 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 la. I like it, I just wow 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 wow. Oh baby, it's alright to be right. Goes on and on and on, yeah.
Let's go!
네온の絡む肌踊る影揺れるステップ流されるままにはにかむ横顔に遠くで響く鼓動探すほど見失い溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね Let's go!寂しげな言葉をつぶやく唇を音色と混ぜ合わせて消えてく人の波預ける指先に儚く
He gets him just in time!
They are the best that this region has got to offer.
Well, a powerhouse performance from Waybo, lead now in the grand final, 1-0 after they did a demolition job on Daystar, let's be honest. It was very one-sided on Clubhouse. Now get to go to their map pick of Nighthaven Labs to try and book their place straight to phase 2 of the playoffs, of the major.
Yeah, look, that was probably even more one-sided than I really anticipated, but I give my full respect to Waybo, right? They've come into this matchup with a let's not mess around kind of attitude. Their execution was on point. Very minimal to no trolling over the course of the entire half. They played really good, clean Clubhouse on a map that really does reward teams that are authoritative on attack. They don't mess around. They set themselves up with pretty straightforward default structure, and purely just on an execution level, they're on another level compared to Daystar. So, yeah, good work from Waybo, not disrespecting their opposition, just making sure they played some good clean siege across the board. And so the stage is set that for map 2 Labs that Waybo are going to run away with the series.
Yeah, again, for Daystar, they did get 4 of the last 5 opening picks, just couldn't convert on 3 of those 4, and ultimately that was not ideal for them. And every time, even in these situations, it was a 5v2, there was always something in the back pocket for Waybo, that being a yokai, quite literally, as we look at the numbers from Reaps. And it kind of feels like it was a very quiet 13 kills. Do you get the same sense of feeling that I'm getting? Because Reaps is usually putting up these kind of numbers, and it's usually quite dramatic and it's very noticeable, but I just didn't really feel like it was the Reaps that we usually see, but yet he still put up 13 and 3. It just, yeah, it's a strange one.
Yeah, he was just really strong through the mid round. He had no entry battles, he had no clutches, no plants, no disables. He still got 15 kills. So yeah, credit to Reaps, just another good day at the office for him, having good moments in the mid round. And yeah, honestly, that last round, a really good demonstration of his ability to stall out time and pressure over towards Church and enable the Yoko denial.
Well, I have a question here, because with CNL, of course, now starting up, at what point do they come calling for Reaps?
I don't know. I mean, we'll wait and see. I wouldn't be too shocked if at some point in time there's a big transfer, but I don't know. It's pretty hot property. I don't think Waybo would want to let him go too easily.
That's right. Well, we're getting underway. Nighthaven Labs coming up very shortly for what could potentially be our last map for Asia. Again, a reminder, of course, tomorrow we've still got Oceania to get through, and there are going to be two massive games. First, the lower final between Men and Chiefs, and then the grand final with Enterprise. Winner of the grand final will go to the major and will be the last team to book their place at the major. So tomorrow shapes up to be another cracking day of Siege in the APL region as we head into the second map. Waybo one map away from booking their place straight into phase 2 of the major, which would confine Daystar to phase 1, but I think they would have taken that at the start of this whole kickoff campaign. If you had have gone to Daystar and said, "Are you happy with phase 1?" they'd be like, "Yeah, that's amazing." in a pretty strong Asia region, it seemed like maybe it was going to be Team Orchid 7-5, 7-5, 7-5 in the lower final. Daystar pulled that one out, so I think they'll be pretty content, but clearly still got some work to do.
Certainly so. Bans are in place for the first half. Monty, Ying, Bandit, and Mirror. Top floor labs. Let's see if Waybo can continue the good form on attack. It is their map selection, of course, so Daystar picked the comfortability of defense, and the reason why this has been so many attacking rounds played potentially here for Waybo is given that they were the ones to select it back on club. Not super unusual given the way that map has started to warp towards the attack in recent stages. Labs should offer a little bit more challenge in terms of being able to break down site utility. The Clash and the Azami both in play. I think Waybo will want to just probably test some of their systems for the vert clear here. Might see the likes of the Deimos or the Buck to help flush out those positions. I'd be pretty surprised if Waybo try and one-dimensional horizontal hit this.
Was having a look at some of the statistics regarding Nine Heaven Labs in the Asia region. It's leading attacker sided, but the sample size is still not particularly high. And you factor in, I guess, the historic statistics of this map and the way that it certainly can play out. I think it's just a case of for Waybo, they're going to be capable of winning either side of the half here, either attack and defense. So, I'm expecting Waybo to be very strong here on Nighthaven Labs. It's a good map for them. Last played it against Soul's Heart, 7-4 win. They got 4 attacking rounds in that first half. So it really kind of sets the tone that they're going to be more than capable of getting attacking rounds against Daystar. Played it as well against Fury, and that was a 5-1 attacking half. So the last 2 times they played this, 4 and 5 attacking rounds. And of course, then would go on and close out with very strong defensive rounds, just not a lot of them needed. That's going to be the test now for Daystar in this first half. Just try and stay on their toes on the defense. Just make sure they don't give up easy picks. See if they can get the first kill. Disrupt the attack of Waybo. Don't have to probably get in their face. I'm pretty fine with Daystar just sitting back. You've got the Clash. You've got good defensive ults. Try and let the time clock just go down and then find the right time to strike for a bit of a counterpunch. Just when maybe Waybo let the guard down and getting ready for the setup.
Well, it's a strong presence on the first floor from Waybo, so really looking to exploit that vertical dimension. Red ping sight and Hoven net the kill. Oh, not quite, but it's still a flush out onto the Azami, who's now getting peppered with utility. It's relentless from Waybo at the moment, midpoint of the round. Seal finds some comfortability, but it's momentary. Forced into the line of sight from RP, and again, that's a good example of just how brutal Waybo can be. There is fight back though, for 4 versus 4. Minute 15 on the clock, however, leaves Waybo with plenty of time.
I'm worried about the fact that they've already got this rafters control, good pressure towards IT. So for Waybo, they've got the ability now to go for a bit of a default hit. Don't have to worry that much about spreading and going towards con, meeting, and overstacking one side. They can spread a little bit. They've got multiple avenues that they can now hit against Daystar. That's going to put the pressure onto Souffle on the Clash, making sure that he's not the last one alive. I think usually with the Clash, if you go down early, not ideal. But also, if you're the last one alive, it means you haven't really disrupted the attack enough as the Clash. And he's just kind of bunkered down, shield stuck on the floor against the bomb chassis. And a little switch up over towards blue here on the clear for Waybo. One just prone in the middle of the hallway. I mean, Speakeasy's never expecting that. That's a strange play from Azuki. It will work out. He got 2 kills from that position. Waybo probably sitting there shaking their head, wondering, what is this guy doing? But it works. Not enough, though, to win the round as Waybo do eventually take top floor on the attack. That was some strange cooking defense from Daystar. It threw enough of a spanner in the works, though, for Azuki to get the 2 kills. But just sitting prone out in the open in the hallway.
Yeah, a bit of a funny one. But once again, goes the way of Waybo. Is a common trend. Now, at this point, then a basement for round 2. I hope we can see a little bit of fight from Daystar. I don't think this is the most egregious performance ever. It's pretty forgivable given it's been a big day for them. And again, as you kind of said earlier, I think it's the key point is unlike a lot of the other best of 3 double downs we've seen teams have success with, on those occasions, they got to rest. Like, I don't think we can overstate just how mentally demanding that last best of 3 is. And to go straight into yet another, which does have stakes on the line, it's got to be pretty exhausting. And to beat Waybo, you've got to be very, very, very switched on. So this is tough work for Daystar. Very much a grind for them. Hopefully we can see some fight back on them here on Labs. They do have the comfortability of defense. And for this basement site, they go pretty trap heavy. Waybo with the Deimos, though, will likely map clear.
Time to make a new door.
It's been a strange grand final. I mean, Waybo can do this where they, when they're on, just be so dominant. And it doesn't really even feel like much of a contest. But it hasn't been the case for Kickoff. I said it in the pre-match discussion that the last 2 series that they played were really close, and they got pushed in both of them, even if they didn't drop a map. And now just 1 map away from going completely flawless here for Kickoff.
Reloading. Cover me.
When they're locked in, they're just very difficult to stop. Was Turd trying to play off of this death mark, even getting some more damage. CL taken very low on the Mozzie, and now far more hesitant to be on the roam, as he's very susceptible. He'll fall back, play basement. It's a mini win for Waybo.
Yeah, they're just commanding so much map control so easily, and Daystar are frankly too scared to contest it, and it's difficult to blame them just how brutal these clears have been and how little margin for error and hesitation has been from Waybo. I think that's the biggest telltale sign is they're just so authoritative. They innately know where Daystar are going and when they've moved, because they know they have dominance in the series mentally as well, and Daystar just don't want to contest them. But understandable. Does not allow the ramp to get to work. 70 seconds on the clock. Okay, Binbin does consider going up with Pika. They commit. So I don't mind this. They start going for something risky, and Speak Easy could be caught unaware.
Yeah, is he going to just turn his focus around?
Oh, no.
And yet, still gets the kill onto Binbin as Azuki gets downed as well. Becomes a 3v3. That honestly could have been far worse for Speakeasy. At least gets the kill on the Binbin. Azuki back up though. 4v3 favorite Daystar. That didn't last long at all. Back up, back down. Courtesy of Reeves. He's on the board for the first time here on Nighthaven Labs with that kill. 35 seconds remaining. And they know there's still one over towards Rafters. Peek on the roam. Turd headshot from below the Vendetta. And just watches as the corpse falls in front of him. And now Waybo have got the extra player advantage heading into the execute towards site. There's one gas babe left for Souffle. A seal will get cleared in the corner. Upe sticking the plant behind the tank as Souffle pushing out of Nano. Nowhere to really go. Vision completely blocked off by these smokes. Waybo in full control. All stacked behind the tank. Got one, but Reaps then gets the trade. 2-0 start for Waybo.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how they've, again, been able to flip that round. The double flank up through Aqua was the right player from Daystar. Just caught a bad timing. Speaking as he should have died before finding one. And then Pika as well, being layered with pressure from the death mark. The frag grenades flushed him out. He went for the vault, which, again, that was a pretty poor decision-making process from him. He would have known that the Deimos was down below and maybe just panicked, sensing he could pounce. Reeves did a good job to quickly collect Azuki. That was bold from Pika. Left Souffle in a 1v3, and it's an easy trade out from Reeps, who continues to mount kills in the series, now up to 16 kills to 4 deaths. Still yet to find an entry clutch, plant, or disable, but he's probably got about 5 more rounds to find one.
Yeah. Oh, certainly competitive round, though, from Daystar. They get the opening pick. Not too bad on the roam re-aggress. I mean, they probably could have almost got Speakeasy without losing anyone, but just a bit of a timing issue. Bin Bin goes down, so then they get the trade, but yeah, Waybo then were able to clear out Pika over towards Rafters, and from there, 3v2 heading in towards the site. They were always likely to probably go on and win that. 2-0 start for Waybo. 9-1 across the 10 rounds of Siege played in this grand final. The lower final proved to be far more of an even contest. All rounds of regulation were required.
5 seconds to go.
So far, I don't think we're going to need all rounds of regulation even here on Night of Heaven Labs, and certainly wasn't the case in Clubhouse with the 7-1 beatdown from Waybo.
It's quick entry, lobby side. Snake to aid. There is a contest con though, but yellow ping information here for Hoven. Does he want to take the fight into the shotgun? It's low percentage. I would advise against it. But I don't think he really cares too much. He'll go for it anyway. Dies. Bit ambitious. I thought that maybe he'd radar to then maybe cause a dislodge and then catch a timing. Went for the Hail Mary and it didn't land. 5 versus 4 in favor of Daystar, but unfortunately that doesn't really count for too much against Waybo, and that's nothing to do with Daystar. Waybo are the kind of team that can constantly in 4 versus 5 wrangle rounds back. It's one of their biggest strengths domestically. So much time to deal with here. Plenty of opportunities back into the round.
Yeah, and not disagreeing with you at all, because I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, but this should be a sight. You know, command server defense for Daystar 5v4 that you got to win even against a team like Waybo, who are absolutely capable of bringing back the 4v5 deficit. Daystar just look though as if they just don't want to make a move, they don't want to make a mistake, don't want to give up this advantage, let the clock kind of wind down. But against Waybo, sometimes you do actually have to be aggressive and just try and catch them off guard, try and get in their face a little bit. If that does come with the risk, that's fine, but there's a reward if you can pull it off. I feel like I've seen this tale so many times where you sit back, you give Waybo the space, even though they're 4v5, they get the next pick, then it's all evened up. That's exactly what Waybo are trying to do right now, waiting for the moment where someone makes a misstep. Right then, it was Seal. Turd doesn't quite complete the kill though. It's a reprieve for Daystar, and then Azuki gets the kill onto Ape. Too quickly though,
Reeps.
back for Waybo as Reeps gets the double kill, goes 5-1, and still plenty of time for Waybo to steal this round again. Reeps inside of IT, the reaction time perfect turn, hits his shots as well. Only Souffle left, goes for the pistol play. Reeps probably didn't need to do that, as there was still plenty of time, and Souffle on the angle got one, but traded. Waybo do it again. Harambe, he cannot believe it.
Not again. Oh no. Part of me kind of wants to see a live Harambe cam overlaid mid-round, so we can see as they're getting closer to the end of the round, he gets more and more excited in anticipation they may actually win a round. And then, nope, just get denied again. Oh, poor Daystar. Look, can't fault them for trying. They are really doing a decent job here, given the circumstances. But Waybo they're on another level. Deimos' army banned out. It's 3 straight. Replay package to the prior round. Hoven gave away a freebie, but well, Reaps is Reaps. Azuki loses the swing, and Reaps eventually loses his. They're caught static, but then speak easy with the trade. And pain for Harambe.
Pain. I mean, it's pain because he knows these are rounds that are winnable. There's a couple on Clubhouse, a couple here on Nighthaven Labs. They're getting good opportunities. They're getting good looks. Back-to-back opening kills from Seal and Bin Bin. And in back-to-back rounds, it's just Reaps 3K, Reaps 3K. And it was at a pretty critical junction too, where there was that missed opportunity from Turd to get the kill onto Seal. Finally, a misstep from one of the defenders. Doesn't get it. And then Daystar get the next kill. It becomes a 5v3. And you usually would sit back and think, well, just shore up shop, ultra defense. But Reaps just is like, nah, I'm just going to swing, gets 2 kills, back to a 3v3. And suddenly the round is just completely wide open. And that's the kind of game you don't want against Waybo. You don't want the open games. You don't want to allow Reaps and Speakeasy and Turd to just be able to run around where there's a lot more space. I think the best way to play against Waybo is to probably just play the most boring brand of Siege that you possibly can do. Take no fights, do nothing, and just hope that they don't find a pick, and then there's 30 seconds left, and then just pray. That's maybe one of the best ways to play. Or you go the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and you just try and play ultra aggressive from the get-go. If you try and do this like middle ground or, you know, half-ass, Waybo just going to punish you.
Yeah. Seal caught early. Red ping. I feel very scared for Seal, and he ends up dying.
Well, so does Reaps, though. A big kill from Azuki. 1 for 1, and you get rid of Reaps. So, I mean, that's kind of... I honestly say that's just a win for Daystar. Nitro was thrown, by the way, from Seals, as you just see it get shot out, but he couldn't explode it in time. As Souffle falls to Ape. Well, they might not have Reaps alive in this round, but it does not matter for Waybo. It's still 4v3 up, and there's still 2 minutes in the clock. They're just so efficient with their timing. Azuki, though, again, gets another kill. He's starting to perform on Nighthaven Labs and brings it back to a 3v3 as they deal with the Blackbeard. Hoven in a precarious position here, deep over towards Warehouse, as Ape looks for the plant.
My position, hostile free.
Completely uncontested. There's 2 players on the second floor, and they're both accounted for.
I don't think Azuki realized that they were in sight, and then Hoven just immediately reacts perfectly. The only way Azuki wins is if he gets straight onto this kit and there's no one there, but Turd watching outside of the breach won't allow that. I don't think Azuki actually knows where the plant was. He got completely disorientated. He thought it was maybe a plant inside of the smoke. And then Turd obviously hears him running around, goes for the swing, gets the kill. It's all too easy for Waybo. Laughs all around. Turd is bored as per usual. But he'd look exactly the same if he's in the grand final at the Salt Lake City Major. He wouldn't look any different.
Yeah, I mean, it's good from Waybo. The last thing they would have wanted in preparation for the Major is to go into a match like this and troll and make it difficult and not play just really good fundamentals. And so I think it's positive for them that they've been able to just flick that switch, enter the server, dominate, and really prove that the gap in Asia is pretty monumental. At this point now, at a 4-0 lead, I think it's all sights set towards a flawless win here in the grand final. A 7-0 would be a great little cherry on top. And then hopefully it gives APL fans a serious reason to wake up at whatever cursed hours the Major will be at to support these guys, and hopefully Waybo can take that next leap towards hopefully, I think, sight set probably towards a top 4 at this event. They can really play at their best. For round 5 though, it's up Daystar to be the ones to respond. Trap heavy here, they'll throw in the pulse as well for a bit of info, but IQ is there and ready to counter. And with the snake in play as well, expecting quick map control for Waybo.
Enemy spotted. Reloading. Cover me. Reloading ammo. Enemy.
Yeah, 3 straight opening kills for Daystar. And, well, it's 4 straight rounds for Waybo. Make of that what you will. Look, we've done grand finals before that have not really had a lot going on, but this is up there. This is probably the most one-sided.
This
grand
one also
final
has. This one actually has pretty decent stakes, but Waybo is just so much better.
I mean, look, at least it's not the grand all stakes of, win and you go to the major. At least Daystar will be going to the major, thankfully. But as I said, I mean, there's still a lot on the line. Oh my goodness, Pika almost caught by Reaps. And then expecting
Reaps. He just knows.
Azuki. I mean, that's the game sense on full display. Expecting the reinforcements to arrive. Reaps with another opening double kill. It's about to be 5-0. Unless Seal and Souffle. No, there is no unless. There's nothing happening for Daystar in this grand final. It's the Waybo show on full display. As Souffle is in a 1v4 and 5-0 is staring Daystar in the face.
He clutches this. Have you heard the story of Souffle? It was a 1v3. He denies this one with the thorn.
Well, it was 1v4.
Okay, no, he missed that one. Okay. Come on, Souffle.
You got the story completely wrong. It was 1v4. He gets one and then he dies. That's the story.
Okay. I must be thinking of a different. I'm thinking of a different round somewhere else.
2-0
Waybo.
for Waybo.
Oh no.
Oh, could you imagine if
Wait, their cams froze, no? I thought that was our feed. I reckon their gamer house has just gone offline.
I genuinely reckon their entire gamer house has just lost internet.
Oh, no. You're joking.
And they're 2 rounds.
That's
7-1 on the first map, 5-0 on the second map, and then they're going to run out of time and that's forfeit and Daystar win. No, I'm joking. That's a complete joke. Do not take that seriously.
What are the chances, though? Literally in our production chat, I kid you not, 5 seconds before that crash, I said in quotation marks, back-to-back buff. And then they DC.
Look, the only thing that's going to stop Waybo right now is the internet or power outage, one or the other.
Yeah.
I don't recall Waybo having any issues actually previously. This is the first time I think I've ever seen them have, as is the case with the Asia region guys. Sometimes these things happen to individuals, etc. But like Waybo has never really had something like this happen before. As we go and have some of the replays.
Take me back to the old South Asia days.
Oh no, please.
I mean, it's been a interesting map so far. Waybo clearly dominant. Being able to leverage a lot of good information, gathering tools across the first half. That's been
honestly just boot up Rainbow Six Mobile, and they'd probably still win on their phones.
just hotspot in. I think a hotspot would be good enough, unless it is a full power outage, in which case that won't work.
I won't get tired of seeing the Harambe reactions. I'm sure he's tired of it. I mean, I will say, despite getting these opening kills, none of these rounds have been, I think, all that winnable for Daystar. There's not really many you can look back and say they should have won or should have got this. Certainly a couple of chances where they're up 5v4 or even there was one 5v3. But you just never count out Waybo. It's their strength. You know what's interesting, though, is it quite literally just happened as they literally won the round. Like, 5 seconds, if there had been another 5 seconds, like, I mean, how do you, like, they would have just all disconnected from the round. Like, how do you determine the round winner there?
I think it would have been a round loss, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it would have been. Yeah, it's a strange one. Obviously waiting for some more information regarding the whereabouts of Waybo. I mean, if you're Daystar, do you just go, you know what? Let's just save everyone some time and just call this one. Let's give them the win.
I didn't really want to say it because I don't know.
I'll happily say it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I was going to say, like, at what point did Waybo just wave, did Daystar just wave the white flag and be like, yeah, guys, you can have this. We're clearly not winning this. We want to go play some ranks. Let's just call it.
Or go celebrate, start packing, you're going to the major.
Yeah, get ready for the boot camp.
obviously you wouldn't. You're never going to do that one. Apparently, it was actually a power outage, but they're getting back into the server. Look, it's not quite. It's not quite. What was it, Chiefs? Oh, who were they playing again at the time? The big double internet disconnect a couple of years ago. EP, that's right. The Chiefs EP power outage fiasco. It's not quite that. It's not quite that level. Not quite that level. Not as stressful.
Well, we have had word. Yeah, they are officially loading back in, awaiting confirmation if a rehost is actually required. I think it'd be quite remarkable if rehost is not needed. I'd be honestly a little bit shocked.
If a rehost is not needed for this, then a rehost shouldn't be needed for a whole range of times that a rehost is called. Let's be honest. This is the one time I think it's more than okay to kind of reset things. 5-0 lead, by the way, for those just tuning in favor of Waybo, winning out on the first map 7-1. So they're in total command. The only thing stopping them at the moment was the power outage, which has put a little delay. They probably would have already won the grand final by now.
Probably. I mean, if anything, it's good for the Twitch drops. Everyone getting an opportunity to farm those for 10 more minutes. So I suppose that's a positive, because the reality is this game is going to be over at whatever point Waybo joined, about 6 minutes later. So
there is the halftime break though, so you're going to count for that.
6 plus 2. Okay, so about 8 minutes.
And then there's the post show.
True. That is true.
Hey, I'm just helping people get their drops, you know?
No, that's fair.
I mean, it's not too much to make of this grand final, though. Unfortunately, a lot of the storylines coming into it were the fact that Orchid and Soul's Heart were kind of pushing Waybo in their earlier matches in the upper bracket. Maybe there wasn't as much of an expectation for Daystar to do the same, you know, back-to-back series, etc. But I definitely expected it to be closer than this. I can't really categorically say how much closer, but not 7-1-5-0. I think this is a little bit of a surprise. How much of it you can put down to playing quite literally back-to-back best of threes, not just 2 in one day, but back-to-back, maybe. I mean, Harambe himself said, though, and this is interesting from a mindset perspective, that, you know, they're going to go into this series stress-free. But I wonder if sometimes you actually can play better when you've got more on the line versus, well, it's stress-free, boys, doesn't really matter. And then you kind of relax a little too much, and Waybo then just absolutely decimate you. So maybe sometimes playing stress-free, while it can have its benefits, well and truly, can also be a little detrimental, because is your head really in the game? Like, if you're removing the stress and removing the appeal in playing at 110% and every round matters and every moment matters, yeah, maybe they're just off their game at the moment because they feel like the majority of the job is done. They've qualified for the major. But I expected a bit more in the grand final from Daystar. But, I mean, Waybo are also playing at their very best right now. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat.
I've done a pretty good job yapping there. It seems like we've got all 5 members of Waybo back in and loaded. Whether or not that means they're inside of the actual lobby, we need a rehost. I'm not too sure just yet. But I can only assume that they'll only be a few moments away from resuming this match, as you said. And as the graphic showed, it's a 5-0 lead. And remarkably, we are back into the server. That might be the most remarkable rehost, well, I suppose non-rehost I have ever seen in the history of casting this game. So, look, props to Waybo for getting back into the lobby as we head back to the top floor for the final round of the half. Waybo seem to have their power in check. And we'll see if they can continue this faultless streak on laps.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the mini goal right now. If you're Waybo, can you just close this out 7-0, go with the flawless, and not just flawless for this map, but flawless for the entirety of Kickoff. Haven't dropped a single map. Doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. And it ends up being, I think, a really good preparation going into the major, where they not only got tested by, you know, Orchid and Soul's Heart, dealt with that. They also then had a nice comfortable win in the grand final. I think overall, in terms of the preparation going into an international event, this is pretty good if you're Waybo. I mean, clearly it wasn't just, like, if it was 7-1, 7-2s across the board the whole way through, then you never really got tested. But they have actually been tested in some of the earlier matches. And then I think when you come into this grand final, maybe they actually went back to the whiteboard and fixed a few things and clearly look even better now. And that happens because you actually did get tested. So maybe something to kind of keep in mind is other teams pushing them to play even better. And that's great for the APAC region, great for Waybo heading over to Salt Lake City.
Oh, peek up. Okay.
That's another opening kill for Daystar.
Waybo almost look better in the 4v5. I don't know how. And trade. Every time. Every time.
Oh, wow. Speakeasy. I mean, you said it. They kind of do look better in the 4v5.
Unironically. It's remarkable.
Well, Reaps gets uncommonly swung. Usually he's the one doing that kind of damage. Even to back up, numbers now equal between the two teams. Nice assault from Souffle isn't going to connect. I mean, a good re-aggression though from Daystar, even though they're the ones that got the opening kill. Then when Waybo, mainly from Speakeasy, got the next two, yeah, good little swing over towards IT. So really just not falling back, staying on the front foot, and 60 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, Speakeasy can deploy util as Turd and Hoven try and trade out CC stairs. Tricky position though, especially with Souffle up close with a shotgun, and then Azuki also in a position to swing. They both die.
I just took a drink. I just took a drink and it was 3-3, and then by the time I finished drinking, it was the round over.
And it's time for the roll swap timeout.
I'm a drop in the ocean, just a face in a crowd waiting to be seen. Big dreams set in motion. I wanna go where no one's ever been. I would climb the highest mountain. I would dive the deepest sea, just so I could make you feel what I feel. Aiming for the sky. Yeah, I really thought we'd make it. Got my head in the clouds, but I can see the world from up here. From up here, from up here. The world from up here. From up here, from up here. Can see the world from up here. Go ahead, call me crazy. I always see the good in everyone. Blue-eyed and naive, wow. Way up here, I can see the sun. I would climb the highest mountain. I would dive the deepest sea, just so I could make you feel what I feel. Aiming for the sky. Yeah, I really thought we'd make it. Got my head in the clouds, but I can see the world from up here. Yeah, I can see the world from up here. Yeah, I can see the world from up here. From up here, from up here.
Well, the grand final seemingly is about to end. It's just a matter of how quickly, whether it will be 7-0, 7-1, 7-2. I don't know. It's going to be one of those three. Probably 7-0 with the way that Waybo are playing right now. They've just been in exceptional form. The only thing that has halted them was a very temporary power outage, as Daystar, a little bit of a reality check going into the major, which is good. I mean, you can take positives for both teams going into the major. For Waybo, they've already kind of had their test back in the upper bracket final against Team Orchid, and clearly have got back to work and have brought their best in the grand final. They'll be in good form going into phase 2 at the major. And for Daystar, just some little groundwork, some homework going into the major. It's always good to have these kind of games against Waybo, playing Waybo when they're at their very best. Go back, look at the VODs, what they can prepare for going into the major against some high quality opposition. So I think you got some positive ways you can look at this, even if it is just an absolute beatdown.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Yeah, into top floor we go, and Waybo looking to close this one out. And then all sights will be set towards the major, preparing for that event. And after finishing top 8 at Paris at the 6th Invitational, I think their sights are really going to be locked in on taking that next step, trying their hardest to finish in the top 4.
Attackers have discovered the
Try to have a bit of
location bombs.
a splash on the main stage.
10
Gonna be
seconds
tough
left
though.
before insertion.
Competition's pretty fierce at the moment.
5 seconds left.
There'll be a lot of pressure on them to perform. For the second half, it's Bandit, Clash, Ace, and Grim benched. Waybo to bring the mirror for the opening round. 1 used IT exterior. Second probably going to be deployed over towards command. As they look to contest the fringe of the map.
What are the expectations for Waybo in Salt Lake City? Top 8, top 4?
I think gold top 4 expectation. Probably to repeat at least top 8. Anything less than that would probably be seen as a regression. No reason to expect that.
Contest towards blue. Pimpin down through the smoke. Feet exposed. And he should get brought back up though. I've got the space here for Daystar. Although Pika's going to be, of course, cautious crossing back over. May just call reinforcements to go and get the revive so he can hold that angle. Top blue stairs. And Zuki will go and get the revive on to Bin Bin. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it through blue alive, considering how low on health he is already. Still 2 Nitro Cells available for Waybo, seeking a 7-0 to close out the grand final. And a reminder, tomorrow Oceania concludes for what will be the last team to qualify for the major, as Turd will be the opening death to start the second half. But reaps as he usually does. Now up to double-digit kills. And a Nitrosol from RP. As the curtain potentially could be closing here on Daystar. Reaps again. So dominant. Retaking this blue position. 7-1 on club. And it only gets better heading into Nighthaven Labs. As 7-0 all but seems a certainty unless Suzuki clutches a 1v3.
Yeah, 40 seconds. And Waybo are just one small step away from being number 1.
Well, a little see you in Salt Lake City from Waybo to Daystar. An absolute demolition job. 7-1, 7-0 in the grand final. The Kings of APAC once again claim their crown, heading over to Salt Lake City as easily the best team across all 3 of the APAC regions. They make light work of Daystar in the grand final, and they went flawless throughout kickoff, not dropping a single map the entire way through. A dominant performance from a dominant team at the peak of their powers, are set up for another challenge at a major.
Yeah, great display from Waybo, being able to dominate and be crowned the Kings of Asia. And in a format that has seen some volatile results globally, I think they've done a really, really good job to capitalize and put pressure on their opposition across all of their matches. And ultimately, they've been the ones to come out on top. And yeah, as we start preparing now for the major, Waybo are the best bet for APL going deep.
Yeah, they certainly are. For Daystar, of course, they will be heading to Salt Lake City as well. They'll play in the phase 1 of the major and look to then progress deeper to make Swiss stage for phase 2 and joining the likes of Waybo and CAG. But ultimately, it's going to be a longer road ahead for Daystar, but I think they'll be more than happy to just be on that road, just be heading to the major when they would have set out their sights coming into kickoff, looking to go for repeat international appearances after making 6 invitational. I don't think they would have lost any fans from the stage as a whole, but obviously I think they'll walk away a little disappointed with how easily they were dealt with in the grand final. You could put it down to maybe a fatigue factor. It was a grueling 3-map series against Team Orchid, which went all rounds of regulation. I think you can maybe give them a little pass mark to just say, yep, kind of understand why it was so brutal. But at the same time, I did expect a little bit more from them in the grand final.
No, I would largely agree. Look, I think we got to the end result that was expected, irrespective of any other extraneous circumstances in a straight BO3 1v1 or 5v5, I suppose. It was basically always going to be Waybo that came out on top. Maybe there's a world in which, if they were fresh, Daystar could claim a map or at least look a little bit more competitive across the 2 played. It's clearly not the case today. I hope that's not reflective of what we see at the major and they'll be able to fight their way through GSL. But again, that's not to take anything away from Waybo. Again, to reiterate, they went in as strong favorites and they proved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for Waybo, it's now a case of, as we said before, can they go for that top 4 push? Can they take the next strides moving forward at a major? We know that top 8's been done. It's just and we'd like to see them repeat that, but can they go a little bit further? Our MVP, though, for the series today, or at least from one of our series today, I forgot we actually had the 2. It's Reaps across both. I mean, he was just outstanding in the grand final, an absolute beatdown performance, not just from him, but his team. 25-8, guys, 25 kills. And it's not as if there were a lot of rounds played, as minimum as it almost could be when you take into effect it was 7-1, 7-0, and yet he still dropped 25. And you kind of touched on it too. He wasn't getting entry kills, and it wasn't really clutches. It was just all the mid round.
No, there wasn't. That was the storyline for the longest time. He wasn't involved in any entry engagements. That storyline did shift a little bit towards the very, very tail end of the series where he got involved and went 1-1, but just across the board, super consistent. And just his read across this series was phenomenal. He was playing like the Terminator. He just knew where everybody was and was basically landing every single shot and every opportunity. So hopefully that's the Reaps we see at Salt Lake.
All right, we got Gohan in for an interview, the coach of Waybo Gaming. Congratulations, Gohan. It's another tremendous stage. You guys are looking in hot form heading into the major. I kind of just want to get your thoughts on the stage as a whole and the way that you guys performed coming into the grand final. You had been tested by the likes of Orchid and Soul's Heart. Those games were pushed to the limit, an overtime 8-7, a couple 7-5s. How did you kind of view the kickoff stage for your team?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, the stage was, a big challenge. The guys was... Oh, wait. I'm gonna put these guys, they are important here. Yeah, the Orchids, did very well. And to be honest, on that days, I feel that the team don't give, the 100% that they can. So it was good because today they come, with a very sharp game. And they show it in the server that they can beat every team if they come with this gameplay.
Congrats, Gohan. Obviously, you've now been with the team for around about 6 months. How much have you seen the team improve in that short period of time compared to when you joined to where they are now?
Yeah, so we are still doing the work. Like we need to have a big team. Always have a lot of experience. So we are still learning, we are still adding more plays, to our strategic pool. So I feel that, we are going in the correct way, but still we have a lot of points to improve. And of course, every team always need to do new stuff, right? To get better, or you stuck and the results will not come.
The big question, Gohan, is that what's the next step for this team in being able to secure a top 4 finish at an international event? We know that Waybo have been able to get top 8s, and we know they're usually the best chance for the APL region to maybe one day see a team from our region lift a trophy. What's that next step in your eyes?
yeah, so the next step is increase a bit our confidence, increase the experience we have, and we are getting that every game, every win, every time we learn new stuff. So I hope this time we can reach this goal, because this is our goal, reach the semifinals, reach even a final match, and even win. I think we are working to be prepared, to reach this moment. So yes, I think the best point we need to improve is have good play choice, good increase the coordination, points that are missing in the invitational, and because of that we lose few rounds, and these rounds when playing against Furia, Secret, is very important, every round. So yeah, we are improving a lot, and I feel that this time we can go far,
Gohan, before we let you go, is there anything you would like to say?
Oh yeah, thank everyone who cheer for us, who watch the game, and also for you casters for the nice work every time here. And yeah, let's go now for the major. I hope that will be a big tournament, with good games, many different teams now, right, that win the spot. So yeah, it will be nice to see.
Well, we're going to be behind you guys. Hopefully you can go all of the way. We'd love to see Waybo or any APAC team win a major trophy. So definitely be cheering on. Best of luck at the major, Gohan.
Thank you very much.
So Waybo, once again, as no one is surprised, we'll be heading over to a major. They're straight into phase 2 as well, Guz, and definitely, as per usual, APAC's best hope. The question is, can they just take that next step? I think if they can actually get into, a semi-final or, a top 4 position, if they can just get into that position, I don't see... It's not a case of, we just got their jobs done. I think they could go on and actually make something of it. They've just got to get there, get over that mental hurdle of, that sort of quote-unquote qualification game of getting into that sort of position.
Yeah, as Gohan was kind of alluding to in the interview, right? When you're playing some of the best teams in the world, your Furias, your Secrets, etc. of the world, it's incredibly punishing. You lose 1 or 2 rounds, and that can be enough to go on and lose maps and series, etc. So they could tidy up a couple of loose ends. They will well and truly be the best team from APL at the event. And with that, sure, comes an element of pressure. But if they can rise to the challenge, there's a possibility. I think top 8 is a very realistic goal as a baseline, but they still have the ability to certainly go beyond that if it's their event.
It's kind of interesting that the teams that he spoke about, the Furias, the Secrets, well, the old Furia, of course, not the new Furia, won't actually be at the major, being, of course, Team Liquid, Alienware, and for Team Secret, of course, with so many large roster changes in the offseason, they too won't be there. So there's going to be new opponents and new hurdles for Waybo to potentially overcome. They'll be joining CAG in that phase 2 position. Daystar, of course, will be in phase 1. And then now we await for tomorrow the final team to qualify for the major, which will come from Oceania. Enterprise are in the grand final. They await their opponent, Man Alifo or Chiefs. Chiefs making a very similar bracket run to what we saw from Daystar. The only caveat being there's not 2 slots, just the 1. So whoever wins that first series, and as we just saw with Daystar, need to be mentally prepared for a long day, because you're going to have to play back-to-back into EP. It's all set up for Enterprise, but Man Alifo or Chiefs, can they play spoil?
Yeah, EP, they look scary, but they're not completely infallible. We saw in the upper bracket semi, they did get pushed to a 3rd map by Anios, so there's certainly weakness that can be exploited. The unfortunate thing will be it's back-to-back series minus a break, so if we do see another grueling BO3 in that lower bracket final, it's going to be so rough for either Chiefs or Man to make the runs. So the best of luck to them, and fingers crossed we do get a slightly more competitive grand final in Oats.
Best of luck to both Waybo and Daystar, along with CAG at the major. For you and I, guys, we're done for kickoff for this stage. Tomorrow, of course, though, is the very last day of kickoff when it comes to APL. Devin Penga will be running you through all the action for Oceania to determine who will be the last team to qualify for the Salt Lake City major.